On the previous video, we left off on problem number 20. On this video, we're going to be going over the next 15 problems. So we're going to be going through 21 to 35. So let's go ahead and get started with number 21. It says Mark has $5.25 in quarters. He spent all of his money on 3 sports drinks. He spent the same amount for each sports drinks. Which equation can be used to find the amount of money Mark spent on each sports drink? Here we have the word each in the question. This is a strategy that continuously repeats over and over. We already know that the word each in the question is division. Additionally, it's saying here that he spent the same amount on each drink. Splitting up things into equal groups is a confirmation that this is a division problem. Now, they did include a little picture here to help you. But you can use it if you like, but you don't really have to use it. I know a lot of you did use it, which is great. If you can use a picture, that's awesome. This is, like I said, a division problem. Just by knowing that it's a division problem, you can eliminate letter A and D, and that leaves you with 2 answer choices left. Now, what we're dividing here is $5.25 into 3 equal groups for each drink. $5.25 divided by 3. $5.25 divided by 7? No. $5.25 divided by 3? Yes. The correct answer here is letter C, and I'm choosing letter C because it's division. The word each in the question told us to divide, and because it's using the correct numbers that are in my word problem. $5.25 and 3. Moving on to number 22. Anthony has a goal of saving $96.20. He will save the same amount each week for 13 weeks. How much will Anthony need to save each week in order to meet his goal? So he is saving $96.20. And he's saving the same amount each week. Whenever you have those 2 words together, that means that you're putting things into equal groups, which means division. And then additionally, we have the word each. In the question, confirming again that this is a division problem. I am going to divide the total amount, and the total amount is $96.20, and I'm going to divide that by the 13 weeks. Now, the very first step about dividing a problem that has 2 digits in the divisor is to write your multiplication facts. So I'm going to do that right here. My multiplication facts of the 13. 13 times 0 is 0. 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2, 26. 13 times 3, 39. 13 times 4, 12. 4, 5, 6. 62. 13 times 5, 15. 5, 6. Hold on. Okay. Made a teeny weeny mistake here. Let me fix this one. 14 times 3 is 12. 14 times 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. 52. Okay. Moving on to 13 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 6, 7, 78. 13 times 7, 21, 7, 8, 9, 91. 13 times 8, 8 times 3, 24, 8, 9, 10, 104. And lastly, 13 times 9. 3 times 9, 27, 9 times 1, is 9, 10, 11. 117. Okay, now we can go ahead and divide. This is a set it and forget it problem. And now I'm going to ask myself, 13 times what gives me closest to 9? Nothing gives me closest to 9. Sister subtract. Brother bring down 96. The closest is 7. 91. Sister subtract. Brother bring down the 2. 52. 4. Sister subtract. And then you can bring down the 0. Bring it right back up. The correct answer is 7 and 40 hundredths, or $7.40. Let me put in my dollar symbol there. Correct answer, letter F. Moving on to number 23. A 12-person team is running a 123-mile marathon. Each person will run the same distance in the race. How many miles will each team member run in the marathon? Again, we have the word each in the question. You already know that each in the question means division. We have a total of 123 miles, and 12 people are running the race. So each one of them is running a part of the race, an equal part. Again, the word each here, same amount. Each one is running the same amount. That is division. Putting things into equal groups. I have 123 miles divided by 12. We don't have to write our multiplication facts of the 12s because we already have them. We did our multiplication chart at the beginning of the test, so we're going to use that. 12 times nothing gives me 1. Sister subtract, brother bring down the 2. 12 times 1 gives me 12. Sister subtract, brother bring down the 3. 12 times nothing gives me 3. Sister subtract. Brother bring down the... Well, there's nothing to bring down. What I need to do here is if you notice your answer choices, there are decimals. So what I need to do here is annex a decimal. Annex a decimal. Annex a 0. And bring it down. 12 times 2... 24. Can't borrow 6. And I can't have any remainder, so I need to keep annexing zeros until there is nothing left. 12 times 5 gives me 60. Sister subtract, and now there's nothing left. My answer is 10 and 25 hundredths. Correct answer, letter B. Boys and girls, whenever you are dividing and you have a decimal, you cannot have remainders. Why did I divide in this question? I divided in this question because of the word each in the question. Whenever we have the word each in the question, it means to divide. And also because we are putting things into same or equal groups. Whenever we're putting things into equal groups, again, that is division. Moving on to number 24. Number 24 says, what is 99 and 685 thousandths rounded to the nearest hundreds? We want the hundreds place. So let me go ahead and do a place value chart. The best thing to do here is always find the ones place first. If you can find the ones place, you can label everything else because it goes out like a rainbow. If this is a ones place, what comes next? The tens. Also on this side, it's also the tens, but this one has a TH. It's called tenths. So then next would be the hundreds. And then on this side, it's also the hundreds, but this one has a TH, hundredths. So the next would be the thousands on this side and the same on this side. This is also the thousandths, but this has a TH, thousandths. Let me go ahead and write in my number, 99 and 685 thousandths. What we want is a hundredths place, which is the 8. I circle the one to the right. 5 or more, I'm going to add one more. 8 plus one more is 9. The 5 becomes a worthless 0. 6, 9, 9. 99 and 69 hundredths. 99 and 69 hundredths. The correct answer is G. Why did I choose G? Because I want the hundredths place. Moving on to the next one, number 25. Mr. Roosevelt has 48 nails that each weigh 1 and 35 hundredths. What is the weight of these nails in ounces? Okay, so Mr. Roosevelt has 48 nails. Each one, action word there, weighs 1 and 3,500 ounces. So the first one weighs 1 and 3,500 ounces. The second one weighs 1 and 3,500 ounces. The next one weighs 1 and 3,500 ounces. So on and so forth. All 48 of them weigh the same thing. Now this is repetition. Repetition does mean multiplication, or you can also write the word get. T, total, multiplication. E, each, which is division. And G, groups, which is also division. Do we have the total amount of ounces that these nails weigh? No, we don't. That's what we're trying to figure out. That makes this problem automatically multiplication. I'm going to take my 1 and 3,500 hundredths and I'm going to multiply it times 48. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 3 is 24. 25, 26, 27, 28. 8 times 1 is 8. 9, 10. Annex my 0. Eliminate the numbers I already used. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12. 13, 14. 4 times 1 is 4, 5. Now I'm going to add 0, 8, 4, 6. I have 1, 2 numbers behind a decimal, 1, 2 numbers behind a decimal. 64 and 8. Well, this one's 80 hundredths, but we already know that this is a worthless 0. So it's going to be 64 and 8 tenths. Correct answer is letter C. Why did I multiply? I multiplied because of the word each, repetition, which means multiplication, and also because I wrote the word get and I was missing the total. Moving on to number 26. Which of these statements about gross income and net income is true? We're looking for the right answer here. For the one that's right, gross income is the money we earn. Net income is the money we get after deductions. Okay, let's go and look at the answer to see which one is the one that's true. It says, gross income is a tax on all income that a worker earns. Well, just by reading that first part of the sentence, we already know that it's not true because gross income is not a tax. Gross income is the money that we earn. So that word there makes F automatically out. Gross income is a tax paid by an employer based on a worker's wages. This has a lot of words, but the one that's important is there. Gross income is a tax. No, it's not a tax. It's the money that we earn. So that eliminates letter G as well. Here it says gross income is the amount an employee is paid after deductions. No, it's the amount of money that we earned before the deductions. So the word here, after, makes this answer choice wrong. Gross income is the total amount an employee earns before deductions are applied. Yes, earns. That is a word we have right here. And net income is the amount an employee is paid after deductions and taxes. After deductions and taxes. Yes. The only one that makes sense is letter J. And why did I choose letter J? Because I want the one that's true. Keyword earn. Earn. Deductions. Deductions. Even the word after here can help us. After deductions. Moving on to number 27. Mandy has 5 bags. She has 21 marbles in each bag. JC has 4 bags. He has 22 marbles in each bag. Who has more marbles? And how many more does that person have? In this word problem, I already see a lot of action words. We have the word each here. Mandy has 5 bags, and each one has 21 marbles. So the first one has 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 5 times. Or you can either add it 5 times or you can multiply it times 5. This multiplication goes with the word each. And then JC has 4 bags, and each one has 22. So 22, 22, 22, 22. You can add 22 4 times, or because of that word each there, you can multiply it times 4. And then we want to know who has the most, who has more. And lastly, we want to know how much more. We want to know the difference. By knowing the difference, we know that there's going to be a subtraction there. So let's go ahead and start applying our steps. We have 21 times 5 to figure out Mandy's total amount of marbles. This is 5, and then 5 times 2 is 10. And now let's look at JC. JC has 22 in each bag, and he has 4 bags. 8, 8. So therefore, Mandy has more. Mandy has more. Mandy has more. JC has more. That eliminates C and D. Now I want to know how much more. So I'm going to take my 105 and I'm going to subtract 88 from it. I can't subtract 8 from 5 because 5 is too little, and 5 cannot borrow from a 0 because 0 doesn't have anything. We have to borrow from the 1. The 1 becomes a 0. This 0 becomes a 10. Then we borrow from it and it becomes a 9, and the 5 becomes a 15. 7, 1, 0, 17. Correct answer is letter B. A lot of important words here. We subtracted at the very end because we want to know how much more, and we multiplied twice because of the word each there. Moving on to the next one, number 28. Mr. Gonzalez is putting a fence around the perimeter of a playground. The perimeter of the playground is 144 feet. Each section of the fence is 4 feet long and costs $12. Which equation can Mr. Gonzalez use to find B, the cost of the section of the fence he needs for the playground? Okay, this is one of the harder questions from the test. So what we have to do here is, first of all, we need to know what perimeter is. Perimeter is when we go around. So let's draw a picture here. And here is his garden. And here is his fence around his garden. The perimeter, the total perimeter is 144 feet. We have the action word here, each. Each section is 4 feet long. So he's going to buy sections at the store, and each part is 4 feet long. So he's cutting it up into equal pieces of 4 feet. When we cut things into equal pieces is division. Division of 4 dividing it into equal sections of 4. And then he's going to go to the store and he's going to pay for it. And each section costs $12. This is $12. This is $12. 12, 12, repetition of 12 over and over again. 12 again, 12 again, repetition, 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 over and over again. We already know that in math, repetition means multiplication. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be multiplying first. Well, we're going to be dividing first, actually. We're going to be taking the 144, and we are going to be splitting it up, dividing by 4. Then, after we figure out how many equal parts there is, we're going to take those equal parts and we are going to multiply them by $12 to find the total cost. So again, it's a division and a multiplication. That eliminates F because we have a division and a division. And that eliminates G because we have a multiplication and a multiplication. We need a division and a multiplication. Here we have a division and a multiplication. Division, multiplication. So now we need to look at the numbers. Are we going to multiply first because parentheses tell us to do that first? Or are we going to divide first because the parentheses tell us to divide first? Parentheses tell us what we need to do first. Here, we know that we need to divide first. So the one that shows us division first is letter J, eliminating letter H. Why did I choose letter J? Because I need to divide first and then multiply. Divide first and then multiply. Moving on to number 29. A math problem is shown. 4 and 6/800 divided by 78. Which quotient is correct? The word quotient means the answer to a division problem. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this 4 and 6/800 and I'm going to divide it by 78. But before I can do that, I need to know my timetables of the 78s. So let me go ahead and start here. 78 times 0 is 0. 78 times 1, 78. 78 times 2, 16, 14, 15. 78 times 3, 24, 21, 22, 23. 78 times 4, 32, 28, 29, 30, 31. 78 times 5, 40, 35, 39. 78 times 6, 48, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. 78 times 7, 56, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. And 78 times 8, 64, 56, 57, 62, 78, lastly times 9, 72, 63, 70. Okay, now we can go ahead and divide. This is a set it and forget it. 78 times nothing gives me 4. Bring down the 6. 78 times nothing gives me 46 because it's still too small. The next largest other than 0 is 78. So, my sister subtract. I bring down the 8. 78 times 6 gives me 468. Sister subtract. Nothing left, nothing to bring down. My correct answer is letter see. Why did I divide? I divided because of the word quotient. Additionally, because there's a little division house there that tells me that I need to divide. Moving on to number 30. A family spent $93 at a carnival. They spent $18 on tickets to the carnival and $36 on food. They spent the rest of the money on games. Which equation can be used to find G, the amount of money in dollars the family spent on games? So they had a total of $93 and then they spent 18 at the carnival on tickets and then 36 on food. Then the rest of the money they spent on games. So if we look at the answer choices, what they're doing here is they're giving you the total and then they're asking you, how would you get to the total? So if I'm spending $93, which is the total amount that they had at the beginning, how do we get to this amount? What do we have to do to the 18, the 36, and the amount that they spent on the games to find the total? Remember that total, to find a total, you need to add. So what I need to do here is I need to combine all of these numbers to figure out the total. That eliminates F because it has a subtraction. That eliminates G because it also has a subtraction. It eliminates H because it has two subtractions, leaving us with the only one that is helping us find a total as letter J. Correct answer is letter J. This one was a tricky one. You really had to think about it. I added because I'm trying to figure out the total. Moving on to number 31. Mr. Fernandez packed 31 red apples and 41 green apples into a box for a customer. He packed 8 boxes like this. Mr. Fernandez used the equation to find X, the number of apples he packed into all the boxes. How many apples did Mr. Fernandez pack into the boxes? When you see a problem like this, all of this information up here is trash. The only thing that I care about is this equation right here. We have parentheses 31 plus 41, close the parentheses, 8. To solve this problem, I need PEMDAS. Parentheses first, right here. 31 plus 41. 2, 5. 52 in parentheses, 8. We are not done with parentheses. What do we know about a number next to parentheses without anything in between? A number next to parentheses without anything in between means multiplication. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply the 52 times 8, which is my next step. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 more is 41. Okay, I must have done something wrong. Let me look at my numbers again. 31, 41, 8. Okay. Oh, here's what I did wrong. Right here. 3 plus 4 is not 5. 3 plus 4 is 7. Boys and girls, whenever you come across that you couldn't find your answer, that doesn't mean guess your answer. That means you need to go back and fix it. 8 times 2 again is 16. And then 8 times 7 is 56. 57. Correct answer, 576. Why did I choose 576? Because I am following PEMDAS. Whenever I see an equation, I follow PEMDAS. Moving on to number 32. Number 32 is also a PEMDAS problem. I don't even have to read it. I see something like this and I automatically know that this is PEMDAS. What is the value of the expression shown? PEMDAS tells us to do parentheses first, and we have a set of brackets and a set of parentheses. The ones that we do first are we work from the inside out. So I'm going to do this set of parentheses first. So I have 1 and 2/10 right next to a number 2 with parentheses. Whenever you have a number next to parentheses with nothing in between, we already know that's going to be multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. And I have one number behind a decimal, so my answer needs to have one number behind a decimal. So I have 2 and 4/10, and I'm bringing down the minus, and the 4 and 5/10, and the brackets, and the 4. I'm not done with parentheses. I still need to do this part next. So I have 4 and 5/10, and I'm going to subtract 2 and 4/10. 4 minus 5 is 1. Bring down your decimal. 2 minus 4 is 2. Bring down your brackets and your 4. And we already know that when we have a number next to parentheses or brackets, we are going to multiply. And we're still not done with the P. We're still working with parentheses and brackets. So now here I'm going to take my 2 and 1/10, and we're going to multiply it times 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And we have one number behind a decimal. One number behind a decimal. My answer is 8 and 4/10. We're done with parentheses and we're done with everything else because there's nothing left to do on this problem. The correct answer here is letter F. Again, the strategy for this problem is PEMDAS. Moving on to number 33. The weight of a sand in a large bag is 63 and 4/10 pounds. The sand in the bag is divided equally into 20 small bags. What is the weight in pounds of the sand in each small bag? Well, we have the action word here, divided, which means to divide. Kind of tells you what to do in this one. And then again, we have the word each in the question. And whenever we have the word each in the question, that also means division. The total amount of sand that they have is 63 and 4/10, and it's going to be put into equal groups